Hey everyone, I'm Trevor, and today we're at Universal Studios Hollywood to share with you my top mistakes that you need to avoid making when you visit the park. So let's get going. And our first mistake to avoid at Universal Studios Hollywood is not buying the Super Nintendo World Early Access. Let me tell you, this is super important. The park opened at 9 a.m. today, and early access granted guests an extra hour in the park. They could get in as early as 8 a.m. And so few people do this that it is actually well worth it. It's only $20 to $30 or so, depending on how busy the day is going to be. An extra per person, mind you. But Super Nintendo World opened in March of 2023, and here we are over 2 years later, and they're still selling early access passes for it. It grants you access to the park, but it confines you here to Super Nintendo World. Now, that's not particularly a bad thing, and the reason for that is because you can come down here, you can ride Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, you can do the games that are in this area, and you can get that all out of the way in the first hour that the park is open. And then once the park opens at 9 o'clock, there is like this deluge of people, this mad rush of the regular guests coming down to Super Nintendo World. And by then, you're ready to go the opposite direction. So you can do literally anything else, and you will probably have a better time of it. If you've already gotten Mario Kart done, you can go do Mummy, because it's down here in the lower lot. Or you could go back to the upper lot like we did today. Me and my buddy Pete are here, and we went to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey after getting some breakfast. It was real chill, real quick, real easy to get on those rides. We did Flight of the Hippogriff after that. I don't have any footage of that sort of stuff, sorry. We were just having some fun. But we got a whole lot done, and we even did the studio tour and Secret Life of Pets all within the first 2 hours that the park was open. And that was because we purchased early access. So it really benefits you to purchase that early access pass. Just budget it in, factor it in. You're gonna wanna do it. It affects your entire game plan for the day and makes the rest of the day much, much better, especially when rides around the park at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, like it is right now, are reaching 65, 70, 80 plus minute waits. A simple mistake that probably doesn't happen all that often, but might occasionally be overlooked, is not buying your tickets ahead of time. You should absolutely purchase your tickets online. The best way to purchase those early access tickets is to just do it online, which you should do anyway. Don't wait until you get here to buy your tickets. You can, okay? Let's be clear about this. This isn't Disneyland. There are no reservations, and the parks are unlikely to reach max capacity. So you can decide just to show up here on a whim and buy tickets at the gate. But the tickets are more expensive at the gate. How much more depends on the day, but it can be in the ballpark of $20 more per person to buy tickets at the gate versus online. Plus, buying them online means you avoid having to wait in a line before you even get into the park. Most people don't like waiting in line, so just skip the line and buy online. Let's talk about the Universal Express Pass. It could be a mistake to buy it. It could be a mistake not to. If you don't buy it ahead of time, you can purchase it in the park at kiosks like this. They are clearly marked with the Universal Express logo on the top, and you can buy them in the park. However, I probably wouldn't recommend purchasing it unless you know for sure that you're coming in a busier time of the year. What are those busier times? Spring break, which is going to be about mid-March to mid-April. The center, like the dead center of summer, July, August, that sort of thing. Or the busy Christmas week season, or some other major holidays like Memorial Day or Labor Day. Big seasons and big holidays like that are going to be busier, and so you're probably going to want Universal Express Pass. Today, I was just walking by, and the Revenge of the Mummy was at like a 65-minute wait, and Transformers was at an 85-minute wait, and most of the rides in the park are just super, super long, where you're going to absolutely want the Express Pass. But the vast majority of the time when I come here, I've even come at the beginning of July before, and it wasn't bad. September, November, February, March, I've been here at the beginning of March before spring break, and the waits just aren't necessary, aren't long enough to require Universal Express Pass. So I probably would hold off on buying it. Why? Because it's really, really expensive. Sometimes Universal Express can get up to $200 a person, and that doesn't include admission in the park. That's just the Express Pass. If you want unlimited, it's an additional $50 on top of that. Of course, pre-purchasing it ahead of time online is going to be cheaper than buying it in the park. So you kind of need to know, hey, am I going during a busy time of the year or not before you buy your tickets? Because otherwise, you might find that you bought Universal Express at the end of February and all the wait times are like 15 minutes and you weren't skipping anything. If you don't believe me, check out my Universal Express video where I did just that earlier this year in February. I got the Express Pass and it just wasn't needed at all. I'll let you see for yourself. I'll put a link to that down in the description. I'll put a playlist at the end of this video of all of my Universal videos and you can find that one and watch it. But definitely check out my Universal Express video so you understand how it works and whether it's necessary or not for when you're coming. You are probably going to hear me reference other videos that I've made quite a few times, and I give you a fair word of warning ahead of time. But every single video that I will reference is packed with information that you're going to want to be familiar with before your visit, because the fourth mistake that you can make at Universal Studios Hollywood is not researching before you visit. This probably isn't you because you're watching this video, but just buying your tickets online and showing up at the park is just setting yourself up for disappointment. This goes double if you've been to Universal Orlando. Universal Studios Hollywood is not large. You don't need 2 days, you don't need Express Pass most of the time. There are only 13 attractions in the entire park. 2 of them are little kid rides and 2 of them are shows. That leaves 9 attractions that most people would consider the main rides. If you'd like to do more research about Universal Studios Hollywood before you visit, check out my ride guide and top tips videos that I'll link to down in the description. And be sure to check out my food guide, which I'll link to at the end of the video as well. If you are enjoying this video and finding it helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really does help out the channel. And if you want to save money on your next Universal Studios vacation, call my friends at Getaway today and tell them that SoCal Disney Dad sent you. Or click the link down in the description and use my coupon code to save on their already discounted hotel and ticket packages. Speaking of food, mistake number 5 is eating in the City Walk. Now, let me explain. I don't mean to avoid all of the food here without exception. If it's your arrival day and you don't have a park ticket, by all means, eat at the City Walk. I highly recommend Toothsome Chocolate Emporium for a unique Universal Studios dining option. But that's exactly where I'm going with this point. Eat at places unique to Universal. There are some of those in the City Walk, but there's also just a lot of chain restaurants. And if you can reasonably eat at one of these chain restaurants back home, then it's kind of a waste of your time at Universal, in my opinion. This even applies to inside the park. They have a Panda Express in the lower lot. Now, I love Panda Express, and so does my family. But again, you can eat Panda anytime. Unless you're from a country that doesn't have a panda, then by all means, enjoy it if that's what you want. Again, I'm not trying to tell you what to eat, just making suggestions that you focus on eating at restaurants unique to Universal Studios Hollywood. Instead, try some of my favorite places inside the park to eat, like Toadstool Cafe in Super Nintendo World, the Three Broomsticks in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, or Jurassic Cafe in the Jurassic World area. Mistake number 6 is not downloading the Universal app. Now, not downloading the app here isn't as crucial as a place like Disneyland where everything happens on the app. Yes, you can get by at Universal without the app. It is absolutely not necessary. The park isn't even that large. You'll have the whole layout figured out in like an hour. So even the map portion of the app isn't even super crucial. But the app is where you're gonna find ride wait times, show times, menus for all the food locations to help you figure out what's available. And once again, don't forget to check out my food guide, which will give you an in-depth look at everything before you even get here. So you already have an idea before you even walk through the front entrance gates. Now, Universal Studios is still absolutely a place that prints out paper tickets. I'm not gonna flip it over because it's gonna have my pass numbers on it, but they still do print out paper tickets. However, if if you don't want to deal with paper tickets or risk losing it, downloading the app, you can link your ticket to the app so that you don't have to ever worry about that. They'll also have Universal Express, if you purchase that, available on the app as well. Back down here in Super Nintendo World now for our next mistake, which is not buying a power-up band. Here in the land, you can purchase any of these different themes of power-up bands, and you can do that at those little kiosks right behind me. They also sell power-up bands at many of the gift shops, both inside the park and outside the park. Just look for the Super Nintendo themed gift shops. But what a power-up band does is it allows you to play these many games that are throughout the park. So they've got this game right here, and if you don't have a power-up band, you can't play. Right across from that is this Goomba game. They have 4 different games like this all throughout the park, or all throughout this particular land. And the power-up band is required in order to play these games. Do you see that spinning golden key right there? Your goal is to get 3 keys from the 4 games. Get 3 golden keys. Once you have received 3 keys, you can come over here to face Bowser Jr. This is like the boss battle of the land. So you can come in here. It's super, super fun for the whole family. You want to make sure that you purchase at least 1 power-up band per every 4 people, because you can get 4 people into Bowser Jr. here on just 1 power-up band. So if you don't want to buy them all, or you don't want to buy one for every single person, that's okay. They're expensive, I get it. Just buy at least 1 power-up band so that you can enjoy this land to its fullest. Mistake number 8 is bringing too large of a backpack. There are 2 rides at Universal Studios Hollywood that require lockers. You cannot take bags on the ride. It's going to be The Mummy and Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Now, this might be news to you if you are familiar with Universal Studios Hollywood, but you have not been here in a while. They have completely revamped the locker system. Lockers are now significantly smaller than they used to be. Where a locker almost used to be, this one was the size of 2 of these lockers. Now they have a smaller, skinnier lockers that are more in line with Universal Studios Orlando. The thing about Orlando's is theirs are sideways and ours are vertical, and I like that because on the sideways ones, when we were in Orlando, somebody put a cup in the sideways one and it spilled all over the ones beneath it, and my wife's bag was in one beneath it and got completely ruined. But these vertical lockers, you can put a cup standing up and it's not going to spill. So I do love these vertical lockers. They are free, I believe, for the first 90 minutes. I don't think it doesn't actually, oh, here we go. Free while you ride, $5 for every 60 minutes after, to a maximum of $20 per day. So I believe it's good for the first 90 minutes. Then it doesn't say that, but after that, it's the $5 for every hour thereafter. If you do have a larger bag, however, they do still have larger lockers, but they require payment. They are not free. Now you might be saying, Trevor, what happens if I put my stuff in a free locker and 90 minutes elapses because the wait time was 95 minutes? What do they do then? Well, just talk to a team member and they will open it for you for free. They understand if the wait time exceeds the allotment of the locker, but that usually doesn't happen. However, if you want some recommendations on what bags to bring, you can actually bring a crossbody bag like this. Now this is a Vessi crossbody bag. This is a waterproof one, so you could take this one on Jurassic World and not worry about everything inside getting completely soaked. And I have links to the Vessi bags down in the description. It is an affiliate link, which means if you make a purchase, I do receive a small bit of commission off of that. It doesn't cost you anything extra. So if you want to check out Vessi bags, please use the link down in the description. But these crossbody bags, you can actually take on the rides. They don't make you take them off. They don't make you put them in these lockers. I went on Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey earlier with my crossbody bag, and they just make you slide it off to the side, no problem. Hats, you can take hats with you as well. They're going to make you take them off. They're going to make you hang on to them on the ride, but otherwise, you can even take things like hats. So it's not like they don't allow any articles on the attractions, but big, oversized, like backpacks, they're not going to go, and you're going to have to get a locker. Speaking of water, skipping Waterworld is a huge mistake. It's the only real live-action entertainment show at Universal Studios Hollywood, if you don't include the studio tour, which has elements of being live-action in it. Just don't sit in the front few rows if you don't want to get wet, and you'll be fine. Sit in the splash zone at your own risk, but don't say I didn't warn you. Between the pre-show antics and the giant tidal waves from jet skis, it's not an exaggeration to say that some people will walk away from this looking like they've jumped in the pool. That being said, the show is top-notch and a must-see. I watch it every time I go, and I know exactly what's going to happen every single time. The show isn't any different, but it's just that phenomenal that I always want to watch it. Similarly to Waterworld, another attraction that you don't want to miss is the studio tour. This is another one of those things that I just never skip. Every visit, no matter how many times I've been on it, I'm riding the studio tour. Every visit is a little different because it's an active filming studio. So depending on what's being filmed on any given day, certain parts of the lot will be blocked off and you won't be able to get down there. But the next time you come, it might be open, and so you see something different. Like this most recent time, though I didn't actually film it, there is a lot where they film like a whole bunch of like suburban stuff, like Never Have I Ever, and that was open for the first time in a couple of months since I've been coming. They've had that blocked off because it's been open for active filming, or rather closed for active filming. But they do have a couple of things that are just always there, like Kong Skull Island, the earthquake scene, as well as one of my favorites, going to Amity Island and seeing Jaws. Even if you've been on it dozens of times and there's nothing new that you haven't seen, and hey, I didn't see anything particularly new today, but the things that I learned because they changed the script. Now that was new. I actually probably got maybe 5 to 10 new stories that I'd never heard before, so every time is a little different. Another one of those items that could be a mistake or not is whether or not to stay on a property or off. Now there are no official Universal hotels owned by Universal that have package deals or anything like that in conjunction with the parks. If you're familiar with Universal Orlando, you might be familiar with those sorts of packages. They don't have them here. However, there are 2 hotels within walking distance. There is the Hilton Universal, and that's going to be this one right here, and then there is the Sheraton Universal, which is, well, probably on the other side of these trees right here. And they are within walking distance, or if you don't want to walk them because it is a bit of a steep hill, they do have a free shuttle that comes by the hotels, picks you up and drops you off up in the City Walk. And so those hotels may be for you. However, they're also very expensive. Talking north of $300 a night for those hotels. You can get hotels in the $125 to $150 range. If you just go 5 to 10 minutes outside of the park, most of the hotels, that if they're not these 2 hotels, they are gonna be not close enough to walk. I've stayed at the Boulevard, which is at the bottom of the hill, and even just walking under the bridge seems too shady to me to consider staying and walking from that particular hotel. So I'd really only stay at the Hilton or the Sheraton if you want to stay close, but realize you're going to be paying a premium for those particular hotels. If you want more affordable hotels, definitely go 10 to 15 minutes out. Moving on to maybe some more generic mistakes, but forgetting the sunscreen at home is a big one, and it is a scorcher out there. Absolutely need it. I probably need to reapply. If you do happen to forget it at home, don't worry. They sell sunscreen and other things that you might have forgotten right here in the park at a store that I'm in right now, the Universal Studios store, or really a couple others around the park. This happens to me often, though, and it's one of the tips that you'll find in my top 20 Universal tips. Along with things like bringing a portable phone charger or motion sickness patches. Be sure to check out that video for more tips to make your visit an enjoyable one. And again, I'll link to it down in the description so you can check it out later. Along with this, we can add really any other sort of essentials that you could have brought from home, like a water bottle, those motion sickness patches I mentioned, hand sanitizer, baby powder if you're prone to chafing, chapsticks, or really any chapstick. James calls chapstick chopstick, and so chopsticks. I get it mixed up sometimes, but anyway, the point remains the same. Don't forget to bring it from home. If you do, it's not the end of the world, but it is a mistake because it's like $18 for a bottle of sunscreen in here. Trust me, you don't want to spend it here. Everyone wants to look stylish on vacation, and everyone likes to treat themselves to new things for big trips, but wearing new shoes should not be one of those things, okay? I'm not saying not to buy new shoes, but just be sure that you have enough time to break them in before you come. Even at a place like Universal Studios Hollywood, being a smaller park, you're still going to do a lot of walking. Let me check right now. I don't even know what I'm currently up to. I'm up to 16 15,000 steps at 3 in the afternoon. So I bet you I'll probably be pushing 22 to 24,000 steps by the time I finish today. So you're gonna do a lot of walking. Maybe not as much as Disneyland. I've had days where I've pushed like 36 to 39,000 there. That's just me, okay? That's not the average person. I'm sure it's much less for them. But even so, if you're coupling Universal Studios Hollywood with a visit to Disneyland, the combined days of constantly being on your feet will catch up with you. And if your shoes aren't properly broken in, your feet are going to be screaming at you midway through your trip. You're not gonna like it, okay? So just please, if you do buy new shoes, just break them in before you get here. And finally, it is a mistake to wait standby for food, especially on a busy summer day like today. I'll put in some footage that I took earlier while I was filming my food guide of just how insane the standby lines are here. But remember earlier when we were talking about the Universal Studios app, you can open up that app, download it, open it up, and you can mobile order. Mobile ordering is a constant mantra for me at Disneyland, and it's just become such a habit and a fact of life when I'm at Disney that I only ever mobile order, as it's just such a hassle to stand by food. But for some reason, even though Universal has mobile ordering, I've never bothered with it before today. Maybe because I don't ever come during like spring break or those busier times. Except for today's like, I'm not kidding. Today is probably the busiest that I've ever seen Universal. So I was like, well, I guess I'm learning the mobile ordering on the app today, and I did. So basically how it worked is very similar to Disneyland. Just pull up the restaurant that you want on the app, select, like place a mobile order right there on the app. When you get close to placing the order, it'll let you select a time slot. Both times that I did it, once at 11:30, once at 2, even though the standby lines were really long, I was able to get a time slot that was within 5 minutes of right then. So I don't think a lot of people are really using mobile order, so definitely take advantage of it here at Universal while it's still underutilized. It probably took 2 to 3 minutes tops for my order to be ready once I hit that I was here. And just be mindful that the windows are 5-minute windows instead of 15-minute windows at Disneyland. But mobile ordering is definitely the way to go. And I wouldn't recommend it any other way, especially on busy days. You absolutely do not want to stand in those standby lines. And that's it for our time here today at Universal Studios Hollywood, sharing with you the mistakes that you should avoid trying to make when you're here on your visit. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'm always happy to answer them. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Thanks for watching. Click this playlist to keep watching more of my Universal Studios content, and we will see you again next time.